Good morning, all you beautiful love streamers out there on Facebook and Zoom. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Charlotte. We are so grateful that you are here and that you are joining us. I am your host, Horace. And if this is your first time, we want you to know that we are so delighted that you have chosen to join us today. Because with modern technology, we are extremely grateful for this opportunity to touch so many lives on Zoom, on Facebook, and now on Meetup and YouTube. We have all these wonderful ways to access us now. And so we're just happy that you have decided to take time out of your schedule to join us, and so that we can share with you the wonderful happenings at CSO Charlotte. So please feel free to visit our website, csoCharlotte.org, put in a prayer request, and subscribe, because we are adding our recordings to the website each week. So let me tell you more about us. The Center for Spiritual Living Charlotte is a new thought community, living in ancient wisdom philosophy based on the science of mind. This science of mind philosophy was developed in the early 20th century by writer and lecturer Ernest Holmes. Dr. Holmes was a man on a mission. He studied truths from all of the world's religious traditions and spiritual paths. We refer to him as the great synthesizer, because he developed a fresh new way for us to look at ourselves and how we fit into our world. So at CSO Charlotte, every philosophy is honored, along with every race, sexual orientation, and physical distinction. This is a diverse community. There are many paths to the divine. We can call it God, peace, love, spirit, infinite mind, or the great I am presence. It really doesn't matter what you call it. This is your power, my power, our power that resonates within us. And you do not have to leave your philosophy or nature of knowledge. You can join us anytime, because we recognize and refer to many of the Holy Scriptures, such as the Bible, the Quran, the Torah, the Upanishads, and the Bhagavad Gita. And that's just to name only a few. So let me tell you about our vision here at CSO Charlotte. Our vision statement is to continue a spiritual community, creating and preparing a succession of future leaders who can fully integrate, teach, and expose these science of mind principles, the messages and practices that strengthen the mind, body, and spirit of individuals. One of our aims is to create a high collective consciousness for everyone in this community. We teach everyone the tools to do just that. So come and join us as we meet every Tuesday evening at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so we welcome everyone to enjoy our service as we celebrate this powerful being which lives within each and every one of us. So before I pass the mic over to our illustrious leader, I want to leave you with this thought, because our theme for today is Be the Change. And so I want to leave this with you. The secret of change is to not focus all of your energy on fighting the old, but on building the new. And that is from Socrates. So now I'm going to pass the mic over to our illustrious leader, Reverend Rosedale.
Brother Harris, did you know that was my favorite man, Socrates? All right, he hit him right on the nose. Boom, boom. Love the man, love the man. So welcome everybody to CSL Charlotte, love streamers, everyone, everywhere. We are here. The CSL Charlotte community is the mind, body, spirit center. And I see so much of that connection with all three integrations all the time now. It's fabulous. So this is the last Sunday of another year of celebrating Black Black History Month, and happy Black History Month to everyone, and continue doing all of your wonderful things. I know there's a lot of great things going on. 2 people on our platform are already headed out to a great function this afternoon. So we are a diverse community, just like Horace said, and we love all people, but we welcome every nationality when we come on this air. And if we know about your celebrations, we celebrate them too. So welcome everybody. So in celebrating that integration I love so much, the mind, body, spirits connection, we at CSL Charlotte, we open our Sunday celebration with an affirmative prayer. And that is, oh, who's doing it today? I'm just kidding, y'all. Y'all know I'm just kidding. I wasn't really kidding. But anyway, first of all, we got Reverend Dr. Wanda Wayman. Now, this is a woman who invited me when I was in California to join her home and be a part of this prayer circles we used to have all the time. It would be about, I don't know, 10 or 15 of us in there, maybe more, like 10 years ago. And it's 10, I mean, we've been soul sisters ever since then. So she has always been a good person to know for me, because she's gotten me taken care of on so many fronts when I was still living there. So I just love her. So I can't think of anyone else who can open up this title called Be the Change. And I believe it is part of her prayer circles that my life did some changes, went through some changes. So I'm so grateful to know her, to be a part of her life. And so she is about to open us up in an affirmative prayer this morning. So Dr. Wanda, please do what you got to do.
Okay, so let's get ourselves centered, bring ourselves to present moment. Feel your sit bones, sit up, and just take a deep breath. Release everything that happened in the past week. Don't worry about what's going to happen tomorrow. Today is right here, right now. And so with that, what I know is that there is a power and a presence that is everywhere present at all times. And it's that power and presence that birthed us into existence to start this journey called life. And today we've chosen to arrive here at CSL Charlotte as a collective consciousness to help to elevate and empower the world. And I know that everyone who is participating today is giving of their time, talent, and treasure in order to provide this platform, knowing that there is no thing greater than God, that thing that I call God, that power, that essence, that one presence, that one power. And so today I give thanks that we are gathered together once again, and that all of you who are here participating through Facebook or on Zoom, or maybe even later when you check in during the week to bring yourself back to center. So right here, right now is a place to plug in, to get empowered, to get recharged for the week. So I ask you to simply close your eyes and say, thank you, God, that I am here. I am beautiful. I am wonderful. I am powerful. And I am grateful that there is a community in which I can plug my spirit into each week and pull myself back to that place that I know that I am part of. I am that I am. I am the expression of God on earth. And today we make spirit look good. So I ask y'all to join me in simply saying, and so it is.
Ooh, yes, and so it is. 5 wires there. So good job. Now, this next person, next on our platform is our reader. And he fits all into this talk. You know, this is Groovy G. Her name is Jerry Campbell, and Groovy G comes so easily off my tongue when I think of her. She's just a groovy person. Now, this girl is the equivalent to having a sergeant at arms in a community, because she keeps our meetings on order by making sure there's no disruptions, and she watches over this Zoom. So if you get muted, don't feel bad. That's her thing. That's what she does. She keeps us all in line. She had to even put me in check. So don't worry about it. But to me, she makes sure she keeps us running smooth, and the fixes and all the disturbances, she's in charge of it behind the scenes. It just seemed quiet. But today she's going to step out front And the other big deal about her is she has now moved to more service in this community. I mean, I think it's so fabulous because she's all in this talking. I'm telling you, this talk today is amazing. I keep thinking of her. So who does the reading for us today is Groovy G. So I invite you to listen to the song One Power after that, because we're going to start focusing on how to be the change that we need to see in the world, but we're just going to be the change. So we need to know where we want to transform first. That's what we got to know. So listen to that and know that this one power is the one that's going to help you to transform. And so with that being said, Groovy, make it do what it do.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. I have the honor of reading what was written by Reverend Rosedale Jones. It's called Be the Change You Wish to See in the World. It is a common perception that life is hard, and this belief is reflected in the way people share their thoughts about different situations they encounter. This serves to show how strongly this belief is ingrained in our society. Such wrong assumptions are probably the result of what we heard growing up. It is time to be the change we wish to see in the world and join our spiritual community, CSL Charlotte. Our spiritual community provides an opportunity to integrate your spiritual journey into your daily life. You can carry the insights and learning from our meetings back with you, transforming your life in the process. Our mind, body, spirit connection has a huge impact on our lives. Excuse me. If we want to achieve success and happiness, it is essential to transform our minds and become aware of the power it has over the body. Excuse me. The spirit within responds to create powerful transformations when we need them. When you measure the progress of your spiritual practices, you get to realize the significant changes have been made over time. This is one of the many ways of becoming the change you want to see in the world. Working on the harmonious unity of our mind, body, and spirit enables us to unleash our true potential and witness powerful transformations. Having greater self-confidence, excuse me, can lead to numerous benefits, such as increasing creativity, healthier relationships, improved physical health, and improved financial status. Reprogram your life with CSL Charlotte. As people want to be with others, learn from them, and feel free to share their thoughts and feelings. It is essential to adjust our perspectives in order to bring out a change in our reality. Additionally, if we want to see the world become a better place, then it is also important for us to be agents of transformation. We are the people for each other, to be the change we wish to see together. The following is a quote from Rosedale Jones. To get better, you need to go through changes. To be perfect, you need to keep changing and change frequently. And so it is.
The universe, it's music for the earth or for the time. Oh, everybody, take a nice deep breath in and really exhale. And as you exhale, remember that you are within that one power and it lives in you. And then think of the people who are in large numbers who think life is hard, as Uvi said in that reading. And when life is hard, they basically create a lot of self-sabotaging thoughts. But we're not going to do that now that we've realized this. We're being called out today to recognize that this is what we do. See, people are supposed to be with each other. That's why we like being with people. That's why we have a desire to be with people. So whether your race, whether you're disabled or not, whether you are good enough or not, So you think it's not even a factor on the spiritual realm because there is only one power. And you know, Daniel Nahmod sang in his song, when we close our eyes to see, those differences were never meant to be. So that perception or that, well, I should say concept of God is triggering to many people, but we are open to calling it the one power, calling it God, calling it Spirit, Jesus, Lord, but Buddha, Elohim, Hashem, Heaven's Door, and many more. At CSL Charlotte, we learn from each other and we feel free to share our thoughts and feelings. And eventually we begin, as we grow and we continue our spiritual practices, to experience true freedom through this one power. So that's the greatest reason I could think of to be the change. So be the change. So wiggle your fingers and your toes and integrate your mind, your body, and your spirit, and just really actually look around your space. Be in yourself for a moment and see how grateful you are to be here. Look around your space as you a brand new person today. I bet you don't do that. That's why I like you to do it in the service before we get started, to just acknowledge you. Good. So now I'm going to take a quick gratitude moment, and I'm going to first give great thanks to our amazing MC, Horace the Bush. He is the man who keeps these services running like a well-oiled machine. I like saying that about him. And then we got Groovy G's reading, and that one brought Be the Change You Wish to See in the World, brought our talk topic, Be the Change, to life. So thank you for that, Rep. Ruby. And then Dr. Wanda, thank you for that beautiful opening prayer, live and in person. It was like all kind of electricity was going through me. So thank you. And so speaking of prayer, our entire ecclesiastical team is here. Wow. And they're going to continue holding the light over us and the high watch or whatever it is as we continue to make sure this message gets to the right people at the right time in their lives. Meanwhile, I'm keeping gratitude in my heart for all of those healings that I witnessed just this past week. And for those of you who would like to experience any type of healings, join our consciousness meetings, which you will learn more about in this service. So we're going to talk about Be the Change. Like Ruby said that in the reading, but I say it all the time everywhere I go. Our mind, body, spirit connection has a powerful impact on our entire life. I need to say that. If we want to experience success and happiness, it's essential to transform our minds and begin to become aware of what the power it has over our body. That's a powerful thought. So the spirit within us responds to create powerful transformations exactly when we need them, not before, not after, but when we need them. So in other words, we need to change frequently. So instead of referring to spiritual practices as work, I call it right effort or diligence. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to use those two terms interchangeably in this talk this morning. And right effort or diligence is simple this. It's the love of being in service or taking others to another level. See, right effort or diligence is simply doing spiritual practices and getting in the flow. It's that person who wants to serve people and also wants to practice for themselves. Groovy G, our reader, now that I'm thinking like I thought about her momentarily. Today, she used to say things like, well, I'm not going to do that. Oh, I'm not going to be doing that. She's just thinking she was being honest, right? But you know what? She may have thought she meant to say no to things, but right effort took over. See, that's what I'm using the example of right effort. See, the love of being of service has taken over her, and she has yes in her spirit. So anyway, I just wanted to mess with her. But that's spiritual practice of right effort or diligence, if you ask me. So we get our spiritual energy by engaging in our spiritual practices. And why? Because of right effort and diligence. That's what it's all about. Right effort means that we are taking that time when we don't feel like doing it and we're doing it anyway. And eventually we start to be inspired, and that attitude of inspiration is within us. And then we have this constructive state of mind. And then with that constructive state of mind, our life will never be the same. So when we use right effort or diligence for the mind, body, spirit connection, what we do is we really literally unleash our true potential. And what that means is that we get to observe powerful transformations in our life and all aspects of our life. So this integration that I'm talking about is really real. It helps better our relationships. It helps improve our health. It's like a solid, it helps us have solid financial situations and solid relationships. And more creative habits get formed by us. And if they really, I'm serious, guys, I'm a witness, I'm serious. They really intensify our self-confidence. You know, it's really amazing how life's challenges can be approached so differently with the right attitude and perspective on life. And afterwards, big transformations. I don't know what else to tell you. You got to put it in the time in order to get the flow. Because what happens is when you are doing it a lot, right effort and diligence in your spiritual practices, guess what happens? Being in the flow is the only thing that you can get from that, because it helps you to be very submissive. We get into the flow through conscious breathing and awareness of breath. Here's what I know about that breath. Oh my God, it's a powerful thing. In meditation, I often say, become aware of your breath. But when I say that, I'm there. I'm in the flow. The basic metaphysical flow, the basic metaphysics of flow, I would say, is all around us every day, everywhere we go, we are flowing. But a lot of people, if you're not noticing it, guess what happened? Now, let me just say this. If you drive in your car and your car starts to skid off the road, you need to go with the flow of the car, because you got to go in the direction of the skid. You get me? Not against it. That's how we regain control. That's the same thing with life. When we practice with life, which is spirit, which is God, which is all those things, and if we're listening to it, we widen our peripheral vision and a field of vision, because what happens is if we need it, it's going to give us more information or make that information available to us from that spiritual realm, and it's going to tell us where to position that body, because that's what mind over body does. Now, I have already always known since a child that I have a higher power, almost all my entire life that I can remember, but I just didn't know how to say it then. I just didn't know yet. I had a hard time believing half the stuff I heard as a child about religion. That's one of the things I keep going back to my old days remembering, but I said I was good. Now, I remember this car accident some 15 or 20 years ago. And when I was passing an intersection and this car smacked the tail of my car and I went spinning around in all kinds of circles. My first instinct was to panic, grab that wheel and try to stop the car. But that was the physical mind trying to take over. But you know what? This power within me wanted me to stay alive. So what it did, it became very audible to me. And it said, let go. In my ears, I let go without even overthinking. Because sometimes you know how you want to overthink what that voice is saying? Not that night. I let go. No brakes, no gas, nothing. And then I went down and hovered over the wheel. And all I know is that At that time, I was no longer in my physical body. I knew I wasn't. I wasn't. In hindsight now, because I couldn't explain it then, in hindsight now, I believe that it was my intuition from my spiritual realm. But by the time that car stopped, I kind of stayed down a few minutes and I was looking around and saying to myself, wow. So momentarily, the whole world felt like quiet, like it was nothing going on. And it was tons of people out on the street that night in Harlem. I remember walking up and down. So I didn't know the world still existed just for that minute until that car stopped. As I returned to reality, still hovered down in my front seat, I remembered my babies in the back seat. And the only reason why I remembered, I had Kevin and I had baby girl Brea in their seats. They were strapped in the car seats, toddlers. And the first thing I thought of when I came back to my physical consciousness was, we all right. I kid you not. Because if they're crying, they got to be okay. That's what I'm telling you. So this one power that I know so much about and feel that it works for me. So finally I opened the car door and it seemed like so many people started rushing over all the time. It seemed like everybody was at bay. And as soon as I opened the car door, it was like, you all right, miss? Everything okay? Listen, do not think that there's nothing going on but just you and all this flesh and blood. There's a lot more to us than meets the eye, and it's not all going to meet the eye. So let me just tell you about the flow. The flow helps you to get in the zone. You ever notice those, oh man, I've noticed those guys, what are they? The football play. I'm not a sports girl, but anyway, I know the football players, man, and they are in the flow. They are not looking at us. They're not looking at the crowd roaring. I know you think they are. They are in the zone. And I'm a witness to that. Because that zone is a powerful place. Just practice a lot. You see, being completely focused, but slightly not caring is when you're in the flow. Because when you're not caring, you know that this power got my back. When I realized it, now that I think back, it said, let go, and I did. So I just knew I was good. I was taken care of. Well, I don't know what I knew, but I do know that, okay, you said that, it must be something. You have to have right effort and diligence to believe and trust in this power. Because even that back then, I don't know that I was doing spirituality things, but I think I was doing spirituality things because I wasn't reading it the normal way that the family was doing it. I had my own practice and I just felt like calling through it that way. But let me just tell you about this mind-body-spirit connection. The mind takes over the body and it takes the body where it needs to go, and then it gives it up to spirit. Then you become the change. And so Ruby's reading was when she read, when you measure the progress of your spiritual practices, you really actually realize what significant changes you've made over the time that you've been practicing, right? This is one of many ways of becoming the change you want to see in the world. So be the change. That's all I can say. Be the change. See, life changes in relation to you. Life changes in relation to me. I'm well aware of that. I heard that, wow, from a guy named Marshall Silver back in the 90s. Because see, I was reading things like this, listening to things like this, although I didn't know about science of mind. But I still would, this was the route I took. So when I change, the world around me changes. So I am the change that I want to see. Even when I'm pissed off, guys. But this is the deal. Change. One of the ways that I know about changing is by adapting this attitude, an optimistic attitude. And this attitude leads me to a more encouraging perspectives, ways to look at things, change the way you look at things than the things you look at change. Well, that's what happens when you adopt that And how about when you adopt an optimistic attitude? Well, all we got to do is what I said, become aware of the breath. Yeah, the first thing in the morning when I wake up, I do 10 deep breaths. Simple. It's such a habit now. Remember, I've mentioned habits a lot. By focusing on my breath, it brings in calmness and relaxation. And whatever I got going on that day, it'll come to me what needs to be done and what I can do and get away with not doing. Because, according to research, that is a proactive step that proves beneficial in our overall mental, physical, and spiritual well-being. And with all that said, it's just our mind, body, spirit connection. I call it mind, body, spirit connection. The scientists say mental, physical, and spiritual well-being, but it's all one power. So by taking that proactive stance, we improve our mental, physical, and spiritual well-being. So in order to practice meditation mindfully, we should stay aware of how our mind, body, and spirit feel. I always do it when I'm practicing and teaching yoga, even when I'm teaching exercise classes. I am literally in the flow, the zone. So when we sense any amount of suffering going on in our body, it's not right effort. Because see, what happens is, I know you want to say, oh, this is happening right now, I need to do this. No, I don't always need to jump to something. Sometimes I just need to be focused, but slightly not caring by going, I'm gonna do something else. I'm not staying my mind on that. I'm gonna do this because I'm trusting that now that power got this, and I'm just gonna wait. And that's part of the spiritual practice. So just remember that quote that Groovy's reading said at the end was, to get better, you need to go through changes. To be perfect, you need to keep changing and changing frequently. I like that because I started saying it over and over and over to myself. And I said, well, I like this. And I decided that this is gonna be my quote. And once you become aware of yourself, you start to come across all kinds of people who share the same beliefs and passions that you do. And that's how you become part of different groups and stuff like that, because you are ready to meet them. And this opens up a world of opportunities for you. And becoming a person who frequents CSL Charlotte is going to be some interesting stuff, because you will be surprised at the opportunities you will see available to you that you didn't see before because you weren't focused in that direction. So don't be scared of trying something new. And that, by the way, trying new things is where all the amazing things really get to happen. So just know, finding our connectivity is really, really good. But I want to tell you, I challenge you this week as I close and bring on Jariva Trailer, which is JT. She's got some special stuff for Black History Month. But I challenge you this week to choose some spiritual practices that you would like to see experienced to give you greater feelings within yourself. You see, you could use meditation, you could use affirmative prayer, you could use journaling, you could use yoga and physical exercises. Oh, yes, that's still a spiritual practice. The body's in motion. Karen said that, reminded me the other day. A body in motion tends, one of my clients said something about that. I don't know, but I did hear it. And a body in motion tends to stay in motion. But I want to tell you in particular, 2 seconds, that yoga is an ancient spiritual practice. And what it has been used for centuries to help us as people connect with our inner selves. And also we attain this like well-beingness. And I've been practicing yoga and teaching it for over 20 years. And I also have the power within me to assist with my manifestations and my dreams and my desires and the things I want for my better life and how I can help humanity, other people. So be the change. So with that being said, I would like to bring on JT Jariva Trailer.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Reverend Rosedale. Nothing is by happenstance, and what a perfect topic for this last Black History moment, or spotlight moment, which is Black yoga history. So happy to be presenting that to you today. So as a Black yogi myself, there has definitely been an increase in Black yoga in the last few years because Black people are seeking healing. We're wanting healing from the injustices that have been um, brought upon our people and heal our community. And so part of that in being the change is asking that the philosophy and the spiritual practice of yoga recognize and honor the history of Africans and development of yoga, as well as the contributions of African Americans in US yoga history. So we're going to start first by talking about ancient Africa and its contributions to yoga. Timmy P is doing my slides, so thank you, Timmy P. You can move on to the next slide. So yoga as we know it is the evolutionary philosophy and practice from the Indus Valley of northern India, and it's dated back to 3500 BCE, and in text in the Vedas to 1500 BCE. And Reverend Rosedale did a beautiful introduction to what yoga is a philosophy. Its actual English translation is basically to merge, to join, to unite, to yoke. So it's about mind, body, spirit connection. It's about a journey to the self, through the self. And it's really about moving into a state of samadhi or surrender. But when we start looking at the ancient history of yoga, we typically look at India, but we need to look a little bit further. What we do know from history is that the original people of India migrated out of northeastern Africa, where Egypt, Sudan, and Ethiopia are presently located, and settled in the valley of the Indus River. The original civilization of India began here under the people called Dravidians. The Dravidians were Africans who built great cities, cultivated the land, and lived peacefully and in harmony with nature. So this area of Africa where the ancestors of the Dravidians came from was once known as Kush. So this is Egypt, Sudan, Ethiopia, and southern Arabia. And the descendants or the common descendants are the Black Nubians, people who today live in southern Egypt and Sudan, and were the founders or founded the original Egyptian civilization. And this civilization was there before the dynastic period, which began over 6,000 years ago. So when we look at the ancient pyramids, we look at ancient African texts, we see poses, we see hieroglyphs of poses, of discussions of breath work, of discussions of meditation. And so there is the belief that this ancient Egyptian practice informed what is now known as yoga in India. Also, you can look at the Yoruba culture, and they also practice techniques to heal the body and build inner power through various movements of the body, which is evident in African dance, vibrational chants, and rituals. And what we call yoga, the Yoruba refer to as, and I may be mispronouncing this, is Rairo, meaning elasticity, or lati, to be elastic, to enhance the body modification, and healing. And then Riri is the Orisha form of meditation. And these different types of rituals are still performed by tribes in northeastern Liberia and the Florida Mountains. So that just gives you a little bit of history about Africa's influence on what we now know as yoga. So next slide. So if you're looking at the history of yoga, this is a great video for you to watch. It's a 33-minute video you can find on YouTube, which is titled The Uncommon Yogi, A History of Blacks and Yoga in the US by Jana Long, who is one of the co-founders of the Black Yoga Teachers Alliance. And there's a lot of great information in this video. And I just wanted to highlight a few things from this video. You can move to the next slide. So the first person I'd like to highlight is Alice McLeod Coltrane. So You may know her as a jazz pianist and harpist and the widow of John Coltrane. But actually, Miss Coltrane, or Turia, her name, is a guru, a swami, and had a major influence on yoga here in America. So, of course, she played with her husband. She met him. They had a common interest. They were educated and educated themselves on yoga, and it influenced their music as well. And upon his death, that significantly, of course, impacted her. And so she went into a time of isolation. And during that time, she fasted, she prayed, and she meditated. And she was introduced to Swami Satchidananda in 1970. And that's where she discovered the teachings of yoga, and she began to practice yoga. And so she recorded the album, Journey in Satchidananda, and traveled to India. And then she later became a follower of Satya Sai Baba and wrote the book Monument Eternal. In 1976, she had a revelation and she was instructed to become a Swami. And so at that time, she took on the name Turiya, which means a state of pure consciousness, and became a Swami. She founded the Didactic Center in 1972. In 1983, she established Shanti Anantam Ashram, which is a spiritual community in the Santa Monica Mountains in California. And she served as their spiritual director and provided a music ministry there. So wanted to highlight some of the leaders here, African-American leaders here in the United States, and one of them is Swami Turiya. Next slide. So there was a magnificent article that came out in Ebony magazine in September 1975 that highlighted yoga. It talked about the power of yoga, how yoga was used by different African Americans as a source of healing and to move through the injustices. Yoga, of course, was a big part of the civil rights movement and the Black Power movement. And so it highlighted several celebrities, which include actress Madge Sinclair, as well as singer Frida Payne. It also showcased Angela Davis. Of course, we know Angela Davis as a Black Panther activist, and she turned to yoga while incarcerated. It was recommended to her by a doctor to help relieve migraines, but of course, she continued her physical asana practice in order to deal with being incarcerated. Of course, we talked about Rosa Parks earlier. This month, Reverend Karen gave a wonderful presentation on Rosa Parks. Rosa Parks was a very avid yogi. She practiced yoga for 30 years. She taught it, and she made sure that it was incorporated into her institute. Programming was there to provide teachings on yoga. As well as we see Eartha Kitt there. She was an avid yogi. She didn't call it yoga, but she had self-care practices that aligned with yoga. And so there is a very historical presence of African Americans in yoga here in the United States. Next slide. So talking about Kemetic yoga, this is a picture of master instructor Yasir Ra Hotep. And he is one of the founders of Kemetic yoga. The Kemetic yoga practice follows a lineage that has roots in 1970 Chicago with Dr. Asar Happy and Yasir Ra Hotep. I actually have studied Kemetic yoga, and in his manuals, he states, "We never invented Kemetic yoga, nor do we claim to be the father as some do, but we did develop the system based upon science and as much authenticity as possible. What we did was to do primary research of the available material and begin the process of the reawakening of awareness of yoga from an ancient African perspective." So they took these images from ancient Africa, and not only did they, of course, align these ancient postures with breath work, but they did so in a way to honor and to heal African Americans and promote this practice and this philosophy and connect us with our ancestors and to acknowledge Africa as a whole, as well as the African presence as far as this philosophy and this way of healing. Next slide. Then I wanted to highlight Krishna Kaur. She is a pioneer in Kundalini Yoga, and she practiced under Yoga Bhajan. And she basically made her guru's perspective, which he believed that yoga could be an inner approach to much of the hardship that Black people confronted. She made a movement. And so she basically, trying to say, she was an actress and a performer, and she met Yoga Bhajan in 1970 and began her journey into Kundalini Yoga and the Sikh tradition. She became a teacher. And then she was given the spiritual name Krishna Kaur, which means divine princess, by her guru. She was featured in the Ebony article, and she played a key role in the founding of the International Association of Black Yoga Teachers and served as its president from 1999 to 2009. She's organized trips of African-American yoga teachers to Cuba and West Africa, and she started the Yoga for Youth organization, which is dedicated to young people caught in the juvenile justice system. She is currently a member of the Advisory Council for Black Yoga Teachers Alliance, and she is a powerful influence on them. So next slide. Of course, there's an organization for Black yoga teachers who provides continuing education and just community and fellowship. And this is our Black Yoga Teachers Alliance. I am a member. It was founded by Jenna Long and Maya Brewer in 2009, and is continuing on today. And its mission is to provide opportunities for continuing education and professional development to yoga teachers who serve their communities. So next slide, and we'll wrap up with this. Black yoga today. But there are so many people entering and becoming Black yogis, definitely with all the injustices that we have seen, and with everything going on in the Black community, we have seen more and more Black people turn to yoga and create their own spaces. One thing, of course, historically, many Black people have not felt welcome in traditional yoga spaces, which have been white-centered here in America. And so because of that, Black people have turned to themselves and created spaces for themselves so that they feel comfortable and safe. And so we see that all over. There has been an increase in the number of yogis. I think in 2012, it was 3%, and now it's increased to 5%, and probably more than that since the pandemic. As far as yoga teachers, of course, the majority of yoga teachers in the United States are white women. 71.3% of them are, but we do see an increase in Black yoga teachers. In 2021, we saw an increase to 7.1% Black yoga teachers. And so they're creating their own spaces. They're developing their own magazines. We see trap yoga, hip hop yoga studios. We see people like Danny Fluker Jr. here, who has developed this beautiful social media presence for Black men titled Black Boy Om. And then here, Jessamine Stanley, who is a wonderful, beautiful woman who represents larger bodies in yoga, and that larger bodies are capable and able. And so it's been a beautiful change and transition and evolution of the yoga philosophy to very much advocate for and include the African-American experience. So I hope this information was informative. I did have a list of books. It's a ton of them. So if you want information, please let me know. But I thank you for allowing me to present today.
Thank you so much, JT, for that. So we know that yoga poses are for our health, and there's a great African-American presence all the way from ancient times about yoga. Eartha Kitt, I knew Eartha Kitt had to, because I saw a couple of movies with her and I saw the way she carries her body. Rosa Parks, I did not know about that. Thank you. And Angela Davis, I truly didn't. That's one of my idols, and I truly didn't know about that. So yoga is a self-care and very, very healing. And that was a fabulous education about kinetic yoga too, JT. So thank you. So guys, as I close out, wherever you are on your spiritual path, right effort. Okay, right effort is all you need to be the change, right? Joy is in the undertaking of that task and in the journey itself. And it doesn't matter how long it is or how difficult it is, stick with it, be the change. So now, this is what I've got to say about happiness, because happiness is a great encouraging mindset and it needs to be given a lot of right effort and diligence to it. When we find that faith in ourselves and that confidence in our practice, we are doing the work of right effort. We are actually doing that and our due diligence. So be happy, right? Work on being happy so you can be the change. This means learning how to bring forth and manifest states of mind and that are mindful, that are joyful, and that are also very happy. So this next song is going to remind us about you gotta be happy. If you can't, muster it up anyway. Okay, so anyway, let's go on with that to Don't Worry, Be Happy. Ooh. Now you wonder why I was singing that this morning. Yay, because we're not worrying, we're happy. So anyway, what are we going to do next? We are going to be happy. Yes, that's right. So let me bring back Horace the Bush. Yeah, don't worry, be happy, Rosedale.
Don't worry, and put a smile on your face. Wow, what an awesome, inspiring message to be the change. And you do that, first of all, smile and just tap into the truth of who you really are. And that's why I love this part of the service, where we have the opportunity to demonstrate that. And we do that by tapping into the divine generosity that has been given to us as us. And so now, as we take this opportunity to invite your assistance in this opportunity with this community, because we use this as an opportunity to engage this community in the preparation for future generations. We use this as an opportunity to really embody this teaching, to create and fully integrate and expose this teaching of the science of mind. And as we make our donations, we're not just doing this manually, we're doing this from our heart space. And so this is an opportunity right now. And if you desire, you can put your hands over your heart too. And just not just think of this as mechanically donating, but donating from the heart. And we can do this. You got Zelle and Venmo, and you can do checks and all of this. When you go to the website, all the details are there as far as the address, if you want to send it a check or do it through all those other venues that we just mentioned. So what I want to invite you to do right now is, if you haven't self-muted, to go ahead and do that, because I want you to recite this out loud with me. This affirmation that we're going to recite, and from our heart space, because this is an opportunity right now, knowing that we're creating a ripple effect as we give. We're building up this community, but we're also contributing to the healing of this entire planet as we do this. So again, moving from our heart space, take a deep breath. And I want you to recite this with me right now. Prosperity and abundance flows from the law of circulation, of giving and receiving. As I give to the Center for Spiritual Living Charlotte, I give of my time, talent, and treasure, which opens the path to my grateful return of good 7 times or more in my life. I am grateful for the universal power that exists to continuously open the paths for all prosperity and abundance that we all receive, and I now prosper. So take a deep breath. And I want you to recognize and realize with me this wonderful, infinite source that we call by many names, but it goes beyond names because names cannot contain it. And we know it is this power that is within us as us and that goes beyond us, supporting us. And because it is abundance, we are aligned with that abundance. And we demonstrate that through what we give right now. And so when I'm knowing that this abundance, this prosperity that is overflowing right now in what is being given is benefiting not only this community, but as I said earlier, it's a ripple effect. And we have no idea everyone is being impacted, but we know it's for the good. And that's what I'm grateful for. And I give thanks, knowing that we're creating the synergistic effect all around the planet right now as a result of this practice, not just from what we give of our finances, but of ourselves and from our heart and from our entire being. And so with much joy and thanksgiving, I release this into universal law, knowing it is done and knowing that it continues to show up as this dynamic, awesome community that continues to be the change and make the change on this planet. And so it is, Ashe. And so now I'm going to turn this over to our wonderful 18. And the man right now is just the pilot behind this entire process and this entire project. Brother Timmy P, he's going to let us know about opportunities.
All right. Good morning. Thank you, Brother Horace, for that introduction. And welcome to our friends on Zoom platform and Facebook, and those that may watch the replay later in the week. On the screen are our website and URLs to get connected to us. We want you to engage with us and find us and be a part of it. We are going to not worry. We're going to be happy together as we're in community, as we're practicing together. So I'm going to continue talking about all the ways that you can do that with us. So the first link is our primary website. This is where you have an opportunity to sign up and let us know that you're interested in receiving information from us regularly. On the website, there's a form at the bottom of the page where you can provide your name, phone number, email address, your birthday. That's really important because we like to celebrate birthdays around here. So provide all the information the form requires and submit it, and we will make sure to provide you with weekly updates going forward. We would love for you to also engage with us on social media. We have a Facebook page listed there where we post inspirational quotes. We post some announcements, and we want you to just engage with us, like and share our posts, and let your friends know how wonderful our community is. We also have a YouTube channel where we post replays of our service. You're able to replay several months worth of services. So do find us on YouTube, like, share as well. We also have a meetup page, and we continue to attract new members to our community. So I'm really excited that we started that up, and we have good engagement in the meetup platform. Here's a picture of our website. I'm going to focus on the More tab you see in the upper right corner because there is so much more that our community has to offer you. Again, stay informed and connected. The best way to do that is to visit our website. You have several ways to connect with us. Filling out the contact form allows us to automate some of our communications that we have with our community. But you can also pick up the phone and call us. You can email us, send us a letter in the mail if you wish. But we want you to be engaged. We want to hear from you. Our social media links are found on the bottom left corner of our homepage. When you subscribe, we remind you to check your email often. Check your spam folder if you need to. Add us to your contacts so that you can keep messages from going to spam folder. But you'll receive announcements, and let us know that you received them. You can just quickly reply and say something as simple as "got it" or "looking forward to the next meeting." That lets us know that we're reaching our community, and we appreciate the feedback. So our first meeting of the week happens on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern. It is our weekly consciousness meeting. This is a time and place where we come together to be in community. Here on Sunday mornings, we're more spectators, but on Tuesdays, you can be a participant. We can allow our voices to be heard. We can talk to one another. We talk about the talks on Sunday and what we've learned and how we've seen things we learned today show up already in our week. We also have spiritual practices that we perform so that we can provide healing to those that need healing, comfort for those that need comfort. So we want you to go to the More tab, follow the weekly meeting and event link, and you can sign up for this meeting. There is a special Zoom link, so you have to sign up so that we can put you on that distribution list so that you can show up for that meeting. We don't have any classes right now, but stay tuned. We will announce them here, and you will also see them announced on the website when they become available. We have a phenomenal Heartbeat Poetry Club. A little birdie told me that they had a phenomenal time this past Tuesday, and I think it is a wonderful opportunity for you to come and hear from our talented poets in our community. That meeting is held Tuesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. You can sign up for this meeting by following the meeting and events link, go to the More tab, and then you fill out a form. It's going to send our team your email address, and then we will communicate the Zoom link for that particular meeting. So we have some amazing talent in our community, and we invite you to come and join us on Tuesdays. Our weekly services are recorded in audio and video format. You can go to our website, and under the More tab, there's a link for Sunday service video and Sunday service audio. Both formats are available to play back on your mobile device, your laptop, tablet, whatever device you choose, and you can always go back and listen to a prior service. Finally, we have prayer opportunities. We have a couple of different opportunities. Today, after service, there's an opportunity for you to receive one-on-one live prayer with one of our practitioners. Today, our prayer room technician is Jariva, so find her in the participant list and go ahead now and let her know that you are interested in prayer. So at the end of the service, we can link you up with one of our practitioners. This is a way for you to receive a quick 3-minute prayer to help you lift you up. You know, if you're worrying and need to be happy, our practitioners will definitely help you with that. Secondly, you can visit our website under the menu. One of our menu options is prayer request, and you're able to click that link, and it's going to bring up a prayer request form. You fill out some basic information and let us know what concern you have. That can be something to, again, lift you up. If you are already up and you just want to maintain that, you can let us know that you want to have more of that in your life, and our practitioners will hold that for you. When you submit the form, it comes to our prayer team. A prayer response will be written out for you. It will be prayed over by our practitioners and then sent back to you so that you can print it out or save a copy on your phone or what have you, and you can read it every day and allow it to inspire you. It is something that I've used often, and I encourage each and every one of you to do that. So throughout the week, if a concern comes up, just remember to visit our website and submit a prayer request. At this time, I would love to invite Maureen Thurston, our prayer tree arborist, to come and provide an update on our prayer tree.
Thank you, Timothy. We are at 351.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Mo, for what you do to hold our community up in prayer throughout the week. I and my family absolutely appreciate it. So with that, I am ready to turn. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I said I'm grateful to be of service.
Thank you. So with that, it is time to return the platform to our leader, Reverend Rosedale.
And we are grateful to have you too, Mo, with all those prayers that you do for us. So thank you. And Timmy P, thank you for such wonderful, informative announcements, opportunities for our community. So we are rocking, y'all. But don't worry, be happy. I like how he kept chiming in on that. So anywho, what was I going to tell you guys before we leave? We generally take this moment here, like Timmy P talked about the birthdays. We generally take this moment to, make a big deal of your birthday. So remember to make sure you put your birthday into the chat or in there, just your date. We don't want your year. And you know your birthday, I don't. So I would love to be able to celebrate it. Because the thing is, guys, it's your birthday. And I know that everybody should acknowledge the day they came here because it's a big deal. So thank you all for all putting who do put their drop their numbers in, because it's a good thing to do. But it would be great to have someone every single week here that we can celebrate. But it's okay. As always, I got to thank my fabulous team, Horace, for that creative MCing that he always does, and the great job of the reading, JT, Groovy G. Sorry, I don't know why I do that to those two. And thank you, Groovy G, for keeping everyone engaged on Facebook. And thanks for the great prayer from Dr. Wanda, and she's about to pray us out in a couple of seconds. And then yes, thank you, Alan. And then our emeritus practitioner, Maureen Thurston, AKA Mo. I'm always telling people, if you have not received a prayer request from Mo, you did not put in a prayer email from Mo, you did not put in a prayer request. So go to your website, go to our website and put in your prayer request at CSL Charlotte. You can do that right now. I'm telling you, things happen in your life miraculously, because when she prays, I pray with it. And oh man, we don't know anything else but positivity that's going to come out of that for you. So thanks, Melissa, SoCal Mally. She's over there greeting and spotlighting everybody. And thank you, Alan, for being my right-hand man and all that good stuff. And again, thanks JT once again for doing the live prayer, and also for giving us that production, that presentation on kinetic yoga and all of the different things we learned about yoga today. All right, and then Reverend Millie, thank you for being our prayer coordinator. And if I didn't get anybody, I'll get you next week. So anyway, as for the entire community, make sure you go to CSL Charlotte, subscribe, put in a prayer request today. And again, if you didn't receive your prayer request yet, put it in, because Mo will send it to you. And what's holding you back anyway? Prayer is good. Okay, so here's another thought. What could be better than listening to someone pray to you right after this service? It takes about 3 minutes. Give them a quick thing you want, and done. You're in your week. You'll be walking on clouds. And if you want to actually talk about gratitude, then change. Talk about that gratitude and pray about that too, because you show gratitude, right? So, all righty, I think I said everything I wanted to say. And before we close out, remember to be the change that you wish to see in this world. Don't be saying they need to do this, they need to do that. You need to be the change that you wish to see, because you'll see such powerful things happen in your life, and you're going to see how powerful you really are. So I challenge you to remember to take a moment, reflect on what you want to see change in your life, and then change frequently. Okay, so let's remember that. So now here's the next thing. This last song, I want you to recognize that you will be, going, you will have great things happen this week and you will have not so great things happen this week. But the thing is, you want to remember that if you find yourself driving your car in the middle of a storm, you can remember that that one power is in the midst of that storm with you. And when you remember that, I want you to smile. So get this last song and take it in on home with you, and see you guys. And then at that time, Reverend Dr. Wanda is going to pray us out. Got it all. Come on, smile, everybody, before I say goodbye to you for the week. Everybody smile for me. So we're gonna, right, Ruby G? You look so much better when you're, And then, where's Dr. Wanda? There she is. Oh, love. Now you're gonna pray us out, of course, because you're the wonderful Wanda. That Wanda.
What a beautiful service today. So what I know right here today is that we have all been blessed, elevated, empowered, enlightened by the beautiful words of Reverend Rosedale, who as usual has made herself a conduit for spirit as it moves through, as and in her, and as she goes out into the world today. As each and every one of us moves out from this gathering into the world, we bring that light, that joy, that power, that happiness to everyone around us. We help to illuminate each and every person with whom we come in contact. When we pass them on the street, we say hello or smile. Remember to smile. Don't worry, be happy. That's our mantra for this week. And so I know right here, right now, that I am grateful for each and every person who has dedicated themselves and has shown up here to be the power and presence of God in this world, the power and presence of Allah, the power and presence of spirit, the power and presence of whatever it is you call it, because you are powerful, you are beautiful, you are wealthy, you are happy, you are healthy. And I know that this is your divine birthright. So I name that and claim it for you right here and right now, because it is yours. It is who you are. That is the core of your being. There may be chaos around you, but those are the appearances. You are the center in the eye of the storm. It is your power to hold that center, that love, that joy, that happiness that is everyone's divine birthright. And so right here and right now, I just give thanks. I am so grateful to be a part of this community, to be able to show up on Sundays, to be able to hear what's going on, to plug in, to recharge my battery. And I know that as we leave here today, that we leave much better than we joined in at the beginning. And so with that, I say, thank you, God. Thank you that we are already exactly as we need to be. And so it is.
And so it is, everybody. Remember this week, guys, you got to remember this for me. Just smile. If you're riding around, walking around, whatever you're doing, smile. So let's make sure that let me just make sure I do what I need to do here. And am I right, Millie Vanilli? Yes, since you looked up, I have to watch everybody's faces. So anyway, I am now about to say adieu to all of you. And I'm knowing that everybody on Facebook loved the service and got something from it. And here's what I know, that the rest of this week is the best week you can ever have. Thank you. I love my Alan. And so it is. So anyway, guys, enjoy yourselves and enjoy the rest of your day.